All right, hey guys, this is the Cade Skywalker blaster. Well, my take on the Cade Skywalker blaster, because being comic related, pretty much only. There's nothing set in stone, so I took as many of the details from a bunch of different um, comics versions of the comics and kind of put together what I felt to be pretty cool. But anyway, so this is going to be the assembly for it. And we'll just get started with the main part of the body, which is this little feller right here. If you notice down in here, that's going to be the spring hole for the spring for the trigger. So what we're going to do, matter of fact, we'll go ahead and just put the trigger in first. So we'll get our trigger. We'll get a spring, and we need the 16 millimeter set screw. And for those of you not familiar with set screws, they are, there you go. They look like a screw without a head, but in one end there's a hole. And that is an Allen wrench hole. I've gotten Hawaiian punch on my fingers there. Anyways, so come on, focus. So Allen wrench turns it. So basically on here, this is going to be kind of like, everything else. It's a feat of holding your tongue just right and all that, because you got to deal with the spring tension. So this is what it's going to look like, and our whole goal is to push this in here and get that to line up. What I suggest doing first is taking your set screw, going ahead and don't mind my shaky hands. I'm halfway between lunch, dinner, and I haven't really actually eaten anything today. So, all right. So what I do is I'll screw it just to where it gets to starting to come through in there. And, so let's put it back in here. And yeah. And this is where you get to just kind of hold your tongue just right and figure out exactly where that needs to set. And once you go screwing in, if you feel it hit something, back up a little bit, wiggle the trigger just a bit till you hit the hole. And screw it in until it's flush on this side. It'll be completely flush, and it will come out and be flush on that side. So at this point, we have trigger. So let's go ahead and put our grip on. And what we're going to need for the grip is we need the big 45 millimeter long Phillips screw. All right. So what I always do is I just drop them in, stick my screwdriver in there, kind of wiggle it around until I finally get it to come through there, and set it up against there. And well, wasn't holding my tongue right, and start screwing it. And it will pretty much center on the hole and stuff. Now this is a long-winded screw. It screws way up into the body. Do not use a drill. And the reason for that is turning it at a high speed creates an ass ton of friction. And that friction gets hot enough that it will literally burn your hand, so it will also deform the plastic. So I normally will go in about halfway, wait just a minute, and you're like, man, I've been turning a while and I don't think it's going in. It is going. Like, you can pull it up against the head of the screw, pull it back, and watch it, and as you go, it's closing in. But I turn it some, wait, turn it some, wait, and right when I get to where it starts to tighten down, I always stop and just let it set for a bit. That way, the threads that it has just cut and everything has plenty of time to cool. And once it has plenty of time to cool, then you come back and you go to turn it that last couple turns, and you're like, holy crap, because it just bit down like crazy and it's not going anywhere. And I get some people say, well, why do you make it to where it screws in so far? That's not necessary, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Go design your own stuff. But the actual reason is because the further it goes in, is further shared joint here. The more it grabs in here, the better you are. The less you grab, that's more of a weaker spot. So the further you go in and the more you can share between these two pieces, that's a better joint. So anyways, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll do the little pieces that go on here. So this is my CA glue. It's two-part glue, basically just like super glue, except the activator that makes it start hardening is separate. You don't have to have CA glue. Regular thick super glue works great. You don't have to go buy, a different glue or anything. I just use this because basically I use it on everything, and I do prefer it over super glue because it gives me some work time. So I put some glue, put a piece there, get it just right and get it centered right where I want it, then hit it with the activator and it locks it in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and this is the rear sight, the reflection off of all that crap. All right, that's the rear sight. And it's going to go, there's a notch on top, and it's just as easy as that. It'll get glued right into that notch. So I always tell people, put the glue inside of where you're wanting to glue, not on the part that slides in. The reason being is when you put when you put glue on this and you go to slide it, it makes it smush out everywhere. Now with the CA glue, I just need to hit my part, take that and set it down in there. Wait just a second. Start hardening. The other pieces we're going to need is the two little side wings. Okay, that's all right. Best thing to do is find out which fits which side first, because they do fit specific sides, and you can tell by the shape and the outline of the part. But all I'm going to do is put a little tiny bead right there. Flip this sucker upside down. That. Set it right there. Smoosh it. There you go. Already hardened. There you go. Come to this side, do the same thing. And of course, most of this you'll be doing after you've painted, just because I made, some of these parts separate because they're different colors and it's easier to paint separately and then glue together later. So, right. So there we go. So this is pretty much the whole rear of the blaster put together. Looks like what would look like if I could get the camera to focus. There we go. Well, looks like little push buttons. One's in, one's out. Just like boom, 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 boom. So let's set this off to the side for a second. And we'll go ahead and assemble the barrel. Now the barrel, it's got a few pieces here. Let me get this big screwdriver out of the way. Okay. First, you have this under grip that goes on here. And if you'll notice, one side is smooth. The other side has an indention. That indention goes forward, and you've got to slide it onto here. That indention it goes forward, so so now what I'm going to do is glue this on. But what I'm going to do is the opposite of the advice I gave you a while ago. I'm going to put glue up top, higher up, so that it does smear it when it goes on. And I'm just going to hit that off to the side. And that'll take a minute to actually set, because I probably won't get much activator in there. But it still sets even without the activator. Basically, it's it's not needed, but it's it's already setting up. There we go. All right. So now what we need is, you got little dude here. Looks like it's like a little nut on the end there, kind of like what's on a lot of under shotguns and stuff. But it will get glued on right there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the glue on here and manipulate this little piece. Hit dude man right there. And again, most of this will all be done after you're painted. That's why, like, this piece fits loose on there when you slide it on because, you know, I know when you start doing painting and stuff, you've got to leave room for the thickness of the paint, especially on both parts. So, all right, so there's that. Then you've got the barrel support on the end. And if you notice, on one end, it's got an angle right there. The angle goes forward, and what this does, this gets glued in right here. Okay, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little glue, go patow right there, and then go patow right there. Just like that. Now I'm going to hit this on the back side. Again, make sure you put it in the right way because it will go both ways. And then if you go the other way, you'll be like all sad and stuff. And you know, nobody wants to be sad. So, all right, let that set. So now, barrel divider is all in. By the way, this front sight rail, it's actually hollow all the way through. So you got the little front sight, but this is hollow. So when you get the blaster all together and you look down that rear sight, you're actually the rear sight you're looking through here to see that front sight. I thought that was pretty cool, you know. Cool. All right. So then the next thing we need to do is we need to glue the two little butts of the barrel, the little barrel nipples or whatever the heck you want to call them. So again, put your glue inside, not on the piece. And I've got so much dried glue on the end of this glue. It's making it kind of difficult to. So there's a seam, print line seam. So I always put those facing down, of course, again. Well, I don't know, on this, you'll probably glue this on before you start cleaning and painting and stuff. So, or maybe not, who knows. Just depends on what your preference is. I try to divide stuff up as much as I can to aid in like different colors or, you know, for painting different colors and stuff like that. But it's not always possible. Some parts would just come out too small if I divided everything up. And I just sat there, oh, good, I got it beforehand. Wasn't paying attention. See, I wasn't paying attention. I had the wrong side of the barrel up and started to put the print seam the other direction, and that would have been on top, and then I'd been sad. So sad. All right. Okie dokie. So pretty much this other piece, now this center section is what joins the barrel and the body together. This sucker is stout as can be. I mean, it's printed specifically in a direction to aid in it being thick and stout. Most likely you would probably end up breaking part of the barrel or the body before you break this, but don't test me on that. Anyway, so this piece gets glued in here. But before we glue this in, I want to go ahead and assemble the little piece right here that has the little slide mechanism for the removable, like I guess you'd call it ammo cartridge. So you've got a little metal rod that I cut and included in there, and there's a hole right down there. You just drop that little bad boy in, so it looks like that. Take your little spring, put your spring around the metal thing, and push it down in there. So boom, that's what we look like. Okay, so this piece right here and this piece. Okay, if you will notice, okay, you got a groove. This piece goes in. Now this piece can go either way, but if you notice, there's a circle that forms when those two pieces are the correct direction. Okay, all you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to hold your tongue just right, and you are going to wiggle all of this together. Hang on, I gotta adjust myself here. I was trying to lean up for the camera and hold my tongue just right there. All right, so what happens is you get that all together, and you got to push the spring around sometimes to There we go. So this is this is what we're shooting for right here, this little spring mechanism. So right now, if you just hold it all, and these two last screws right here, and this is the thing, you can take this function apart once you glue it to the body. All you gotta do is take these two screws out and you can disassemble the rear from the front barrel. I just put it together this way because for the first assembly, it's a lot easier to do it like this. So, let me change my bits here. Get screwed down in there. And again, these are kind of long-winded. You know, you don't have to go nuts, and especially do not use a power screwdriver or a drill to screw them in. Again, the temperature from friction gets extremely high to the point to where if you wanted to pull these out and hold it in your hands, you would burn yourself. So if it gets that high while it's cutting threads, it's going to also distort the plastic, which is fine as long as you don't go too fast, and it actually aids in the forming of the threads. So you get in just a ways, you give it a second, you just let it cool down a little bit. Go a little bit more. Okay. Get this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait just a second before I finish those last couple turns, let it cool down a bit. So while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and glue the body in. So we're going to go ahead and get that set down in there. Now that's one of these things is you need plenty of glue, but don't go crazy, because when you go to jam this down in here, it's going to squish all over the dang place if you got too much. So get enough, but not too much. How much that is, I have absolutely no idea. And then we're just going to slide it down in there and squeeze a bit. See, it's squishing out. It's squishing out. Too much. That's a little too much. Not a lot too much, just a little too much. Okay. That bad boy. And what I would do if I was final assembling this for my own one, I would come in here and I would take a screwdriver, and you can pick at this glue and get it to come off in chunks for the most of it, and then detail anything that you need to. And there, I even got a little globby there, but so far, this is what we've got. It fits your hand nicely at a nice little boom, 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 boom angle. All right, so let's get our last couple turns in there. And yes, it will bite down nice and hard. All right. All right. So when you guys get this together, you may go to move it and it's like it won't move. Just take something and move your spring around, because the spring might be kicked off to the side when you assembled it and it won't go down. So if you just push the spring a little bit and get it centered, from then on, you're good to go. And then pretty much, here. No, I just push mine off to the side, showing you guys. There we go. All right. So pretty much, and I had it kind of worked out like where I could do this like one-handed real quick. But so the cartridge just sits in there. It's not going to fall out unless you really snag the crap out of something. But you just push forward, it'll change it out. And then I got to work out a easy way to. I thought I had an easy way. It's been about 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I did this model, and me and Michael from Fan Fictions worked on it. There you go. It's just getting used to anything, swapping out anything like that. But so let's see. Let me get this out the way. I always hate having to go fast on building these and stuff when I'm talking to you guys and stuff. I'd like to cover a little bit more stuff, but I also have to keep the video somewhat normal. And do not forget to put your orange tip on there, okay? None of y'all need to be getting in trouble. None of y'all need to be getting shot while you're out doing something stupid. So don't be stupid. So that's my little PSA to y'all. Put your damn orange tips on your damn kits, okay? So there's the Cade Skywalker. I hope you guys like it. I mean, if you don't like it, let me know. If you do like it, let me know. If you don't like it, though, you can let me know, but just be nice about it. So, anyways, thanks, guys.